Hi disciples, this is Jetsu, and on my channel, as you know, I talk about God, his son coming back, and his love for us. Today, for those who come into my channel for the first time, thank you for coming, and for those coming back to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to look at some scripture. I'm going to look at Nehemiah chapter 2, reading from verse 1 to around verse 11. So let's see what Nehemiah has to say to the children of Israel, and how it applied to us today in terms of disobedience and not listening to God. So just let's get into it and see what Nehemiah has to say. And it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Ataxiah, the king, that wine was before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. So Nehemiah is saying he went to the king. So we're going to see later on what he went to the king for. So he took up the king wine and he handed it to the king. So let's see why Nehemiah was before the king. Therefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad? Seeing thou art not sick, this is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid. So he's in front of the king. He took up the king wine and he gave it to the king. So now the king said, Nehemiah, why your countenance looks so sad? Why you look so sad? You're not sick, Nehemiah. So why is your countenance look so sad? So, so now Nehemiah said, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. So he's saying unto the king, king, live forever. It's a typical saying we probably hear they saying to king in our time now, king, live forever. I don't know, maybe in some country that is a totalitarian run by king. King, everything goes by what the king says, because we don't have too much of the absolute monarch. So an absolute monarch is where the king can send anyone to the slaughter. Everything what the king says, go. So so he was afraid. Nehemiah was afraid in front of the king. And he was very sad, I should say. And the king observed that Nehemiah face look. He said, your countenance looks sad. So let's read further and see what's going on. Then the king said unto me, for what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven. So the king wanted to know what type of request you came to see me for. So this is what the king is asking Nehemiah. What is your request, Nehemiah? Now that you're standing in front of me, what is your request? And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judea, unto the city of my father's sepulchre, that means his father's tomb, that I may build. So remember, Jerusalem was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar, the king from Babylon. So all the children was in Babylon. They were in Babylon, and the rivers of Babylon were missing. Like I told you before, we're missing, longing to go back to Jerusalem and stuff. So Nehemiah is saying, king, I'm a bit sad, because I'm thinking about Jerusalem, and my father's sepulchre is in Jerusalem. And, I'm very sad, king, and I want to go back and rebuild the city, rebuild my father's sepulchre. My father's sepulchre is there. He's trying to tell the king, my father is buried in Jerusalem, and his tomb is there. I want to go clean the grass and everything around from my father's tomb. I want to go back, king. So, so I am coming in front of you and looking very sad, because I'm sad for Jerusalem. I'm very sad. I'm looking at the children now in Babylon with me. And you have to remember, Jeremiah, all the children of Israel, 99.9% of them went to Babylon, including Nehemiah. So now, and the king said unto me, queen also sitting by me, for how long shall thy journey be, and when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me and set him a time. So Nehemiah is saying the king is sitting next, the queen is sitting next to the king, and the king wants to know how long the journey is going to take, to get to Jerusalem, and in terms of how long, whatever he's going in Jerusalem to do, how long it's going to take him to do. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given to me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come unto Judea. So Nehemiah is smart. He's saying to the king, King, I have to pass through a lot of tribe territory. I have to pass through governors in different territory. So if it please the king, King, can I get a letter from you? A legitimate letter. So when I'm going across those terrible land to get to the land that God gave to us, in Jerusalem, King, let me have a letter as evidence that you send me on my journey to do this. So let's read further on and see what happened. A letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gate of the palace, which pertain to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my God upon me. So he's saying, I need letters. I need letters to take. I need letters to go across the border. I got to give it to the governor. And I also need letters to give to the king's keeper who is in the forest, because I got to go to the bush. I got to go through the forest to get to Jerusalem. And everybody's going to ask him, where are you going, Nehemiah? You can't come across here. So he wanted to present this letter even to the forester in the forest to say, I can cross. This is the letter from the king, So he's trying to set up himself to make sure he does not come in contact with obstacle or too much obstacle, because he has evidence of letters to show. So we are at verse 9. Then I came to the governor beyond the river and gave them the king's letter. Now the king had sent captains of the army and horsemen with me, when Sanballat the Horonites and to Tobiah the servant, the Ammonites, heard of it, in grievance then exceedingly, that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. So here comes Sanballat. So we're going to probably find out who is Sanballat. So maybe he's a friend of the governor, because Nehemiah is saying no. Sanballat, the Horonites, and Tobiah, so the servant of the Ammonites. So they came to Nehemiah, and Nehemiah in grievance, like, what are you doing here? Who are you? What are you doing here? So, so those two persons, Sanballat and Tobiah, the servant of the Ammonites, heard of Nehemiah crossing through their borders. Let's check him out and see where he's going. So that's what they're doing. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days, and I arose in the night, and some few men with me, neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem, neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode on. Except the beast I rode on. In other words, there was no animal, there was nothing. Remember, the Babylon, they cleaned Jerusalem. They put Jerusalem to rubble. Jerusalem was in rumble. Everything was on the ground. All bricks and stone was down. The Babylon, they tore Jerusalem up. So he's saying, I don't see no beast around. The only beast I saw is the beast that I'm sitting upon. Except the beast that I rode into Jerusalem. I don't see no beast. I don't see anything. And except for the men that goes with him. So he's saying to the king. So let's see. And I rose in the night, and I saw few men with me. Chapter 13. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the Dragon well, and to the dung port, and view the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gate there. So he got the letter so he could get to give to the forester, so he could get timber to build the gate of Jerusalem. Because like I said, the Babylon tore up Jerusalem. Jerusalem was in rubble. So he went out to assess Now I'm in Jerusalem. Let me assess the damage. Let me see. We have to build the gate. They burned the gate. The gate was wood, so they burned the gate. So now I have to get timber from the forester, and that's why it's very important to get those letters from the king. So he's assessing what needs to be built and the material he's going to need. And then I went on the gate of the fountain and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. So he's talking about the donkey or the horse, whatever he was riding back in those days, probably donkey. You know, there was no place for the donkey or whatever. Maybe there's no water or anything to give to his donkey. Then I went up in the night by the brook and viewed the wall and turned back and entered by the gate of the valley and so return. And the ruler knew not whither I went or what I did, neither had I, as I yet told it to the Jews nor to the priests. So in other words, everybody saw him trod in Jerusalem. I mean, the few people was there. Sanballat, Tobiah, everybody saw him. But as he said nothing to neither one of them. He did not tell them why he was in Jerusalem or why he was there. So he came, he's inspecting, he's trying to see what assessment, what material he's going to need. Then he's going to go back to the king and he's going to tell the king, you know, what needed to be done so I could start rebuild Jerusalem. And that time, he's going to tell the people why he's there. But for now, he's just doing his assessment to see what is needed to be done in Jerusalem and what type of material he's gonna need to rebuild Jerusalem, and probably how many people he's going to need. And this is the reason why he did not allow the king to give him men, in other words, the king army, any of the king army, to trot along with him to Jerusalem, because that's only will stir up conflicts and strife with the king men doing here. Because remember, he was coming from a different city. He was coming from Babylon. So, you know, so all of these trying to keep things calm and everything, just got his letters and everything. So I just want to say, my disciple, this is reading from Nehemiah 2, reading from Nehemiah chapter 2, from verse 1 to verse 16. So until then, I will continue reading Nehemiah and see what happened to them. So until then, my disciple, I just want to say, God first, man second. God first, man second. So if you like what you hear, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. So whenever I upload anything new, you'll be the first to hear. So thank you and God bless.